it's easy to say to all your friends. Like, I would never buy in Mexico, like, because then...
Have you ever invested in real estate is actually the first question. The market is not there to just like buy today, flip tomorrow. The assignment of pre-construction projects isn't, as doable anymore.
I think it's just not the place for the cheap traveler, and I think it's okay. I think that's okay. Like, I think, that's kind of something that we're fighting. I think some people here were like, oh, we want it to be like, inaccessible place. Like, well, it is also like, it's an exclusive place, and that's okay. It's okay to be high end. It was something in the air. It was something in the air. All right, well, welcome to the first episode of Champagne in the Jungle. I'm Rachel Huggenschmidt, the founder and CEO of Jungle Luxe, property management and interior design here in Tulum, Mexico. I have Krystal Hess with me with Palms Real Estate Group, so we can talk today a little bit more about Tulum, the market, what's really happening, and really unpack it for investors.
Perfect. I guess let's cheers first, or since it's champagne in the jungle.
That's right.
Cheers.
So, Krystal, tell me how you got here, because I feel like we're a lot the same, because we both came, I think, around the same time and decided to make this lovely place home.
Yeah, so I was selling real estate in Canada since 2008. And once 2020 hit and they started locking down Canada, I decided not to be locked down, and I said, okay, we're going to Mexico. So moved to Mexico, did my first investment like 4 days into arriving in Playa, because I had lived in Chiapas the first 6 months while I ran a team back home, and flipped that property and have not stopped since I got here. So
here you are. So here we are in the real Tulum, post-COVID Tulum, not like craziness. I think that Tulum has gone from a boho fantasy to an actual playbook, from like put a chair in a room, get money, rent a unit, to, well, now you better have a strategy.
Yeah.
So I think I want to talk a little bit about what you're seeing in the marketplace as a real estate agent today.
Okay. So what I saw when I first got here was the insane boom. And we were feeling that in Canada and the US, people had access to money they never had. They were being given pre-approvals for high numbers. And the same thing kind of happened here. People were getting these very low interest rate loans in Canada, in the US, and putting the money here. A lot of people were moving here because they were locked down. So what I like to say is that Tulum was like a little boy who had a 1-year growth spurt. And everyone, couldn't really catch up with keeping, the right size of clothes on it. Right. And now we're in like a time where Tulum has become the man or the woman that it is. And we're now seeing that it is becoming fully itself. So
do you think the parenting was okay along the way?
The parenting was awful. The parenting of Tulum was not very good. Okay. It was not, they could not keep up with keeping it clothed.
Okay, good. Yeah. So there's some issues. I think maybe that's some of the cracks we see, the parenting issues of Tulum.
100%, yeah. So there just wasn't enough time to keep up with it. So the build was happening really quickly. People were starting, foreign money was coming in, building, larger studios.
It was a gold rush.
It was a gold rush, yeah. And now what we're seeing is so incredible. We're seeing it like finally become what it is. The city, the mayor has been doing a fantastic job at finishing the roads, at putting 25 new beach access points. And it is finally, a conscious existence.
Like a real city.
It's become
an adult, if you would.
No,
I think maybe we're like graduating high school. I think we're going to college.
It's like 18.
Yeah, 18. Okay, so Tulum's 18.
Tulum's about 18 and finally able to think for itself. And and I find it so beautiful. And I find it like the future of Tulum is so much better than where we came from. Yeah. It's really becoming something special. So.
Yeah, so it's not dead. There is a sense of community, and all the news isn't correct.
No.
But I think what we should talk about is a little bit of like unpacking it for the investors.
Yeah.
I think, so in the COVID craze, we had investors who were wow, I'm going to get into something, I'm going to do something. I mean, I think there's 3 types of investors. There's the guy that buys a long-term rental. He gets his mortgage paid off in 30 years. He's probably negative $200 a month, and he's like, you know, going on his merry way. Then we have the Airbnb investor. I think it's been a little bit of get rich quick feeling because it was a craze and it was a trend and everybody was doing it. You could just sit at home locked down and watch everybody across the world renting Airbnbs. Then you have the house flipper. They're nuts. They're like a gambler. They're like, oh, bet it all on red. Like, who cares? Let's take out, you know, right? And I mean, I've flipped before and I've been in that world. So I think that we just had a lot of maybe not the right investors in the beginning. And I think that led to a lot of disappointment. And I think now that we're in a big market, in a real market, you know, how do you set expectations for your clients?
Right. Well, like, unless you're a day trader who's sitting at your laptop for crypto or, you know, on Wealthsimple for stocks or whatever it is, like, the market is not there to just like buy today, flip tomorrow. The assignment of pre-construction projects isn't, you know, as doable anymore. And it is definitely a long-term investment, but with now you have an asset in a place that is booming and in a country that is self-sustainable, from agriculture to industrial to you name it, textiles. Like, this country is I would say it's an underdog, because other countries like to say things about it, but until you spend time and live here, you don't realize how powerful in labor and everything and creativity this country has. So you have an asset sitting in literal paradise of a country that is very powerful in terms of self-sustainability. And so you do need to let that kind of ride out for a couple years, and also do it for yourself. Like, when you're investing in it, just realize it's like a normal real estate investment in any other country right now. You know, you're not gonna buy and flip unless it's a total gut job, and then we send them to you.
Yeah, you have to do a lot of work in those cases. I mean, I think it's also a heirloom investment. It's something special to, you know, share with your family, leave to your children. I think, you know, people need to look at these investments in a little bit of a different way. I mean, in the past, I think we've been seeing like 8 to 10% appreciation a year, which I think is really big. You know, a lot of times in a normal US or Canada market, we might see 2 or 3%. So I think, you know, that's a really important factor when you're talking to investors about coming into this market. Talking about the type of properties, what type of properties and price ranges are your clients looking at and buying right now?
Right now, I'm doing a lot of villas because, as you know, the villas are really where they can host more people. And now we're starting to see that Tulum has kind of almost become like a classier Nashville, where there's huge groups of bachelorettes, bachelor parties, also families from North Mexico. Like, a lot of people are coming down with a lot of people. So you're going to make the most money on these villas. And also, you did tell me that one of the better investments, if we're going like to get our foot in the door, would be the 1-bedrooms with the pools that are sunny.
Sunny pools. Those are like sunny pools and villas. Villas are really only still about 6% of the market right now. And that's obviously growing as those are under construction. But yeah, villas and sunny pools. I mean, I always say the couples travel is still really, really big here. What about like price ranges? What are you seeing? And how are your clients buying? Are they financing? Are they paying cash?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So right now, the clients I'm working with, they are cash buyers. However, I have done within the last 6 months deals with the financing. So the way the financing looks is, if you're American or Canadian, you can purchase with 36% down. It is a Mexican lender that requires your T1, T4, your income tax, that's for Canada, or your income tax documents from the USA, and just a screenshot of your Equifax or your credit score. So your proof of income. And for Canadians, that actually does not reflect to CRA, nor does it hit your credit score. And it also doesn't hit your credit in the United States. In terms of if they communicate with the IRS, I can't speak on the US side. But there's definitely a lot more room now for people to invest in these villas or to do construction, because we can do construction as well with you with the with the financing from this company that I use.
Yeah,
So,
which I think it's a good option. I think people need to realize though that like obviously on financing in Mexico, the terms are definitely like, there are certain properties that won't qualify. It's not just like, a license to buy anything.
Yeah.
Or also the closing costs, like the points and stuff on the loans tends to be a little bit high. I
For
mean,
sure.
obviously cash is better in this scenario.
Yeah,
I know there are
absolutely.
also some lenders now that are talking about doing like equity loans, like once everything's built and
Yeah.
and that they can do that too.
If you cannot do that, great.
Yeah.
If you can go not that route, great. But if you're trying to get in a larger property, you can do it. I would not suggest it for the 1 and 2 and 3 bedroom
No.
condos. Don't touch it because you're going to be paying out of pocket.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I think we did see some people in this market, like owners with mortgages, and it's like, okay, and they're like, I need more rentals because of my mortgage, and it's like, okay, well, what am I doing here? I'm
Compensate
just
for that
hosting.
percentage that the bank's
Yeah,
charging.
that's tough. So I think, definitely with any investment, people need to be conscious and well capitalized
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, in terms of the pricing, right now the clients I'm working with are 600 to 1.5.
Okay.
The 600 can get you into a great performing, I'm trying to think of the ones I just showed in the past few days, like 5-bedroom villas that do need like a little bit of a facelift in terms of like aesthetics, like styling your style, that is the Tulum style. And then once we get into the $1 million price point, we're in like these 6-bedroom villas that are producing $200,000 a year. So it's fun to play in that range because we get to explore, how much of that do you want to pull out of your pocket and move forward with. Yeah.
Yeah, and then obviously the return and obviously the larger villas are going to get you the bigger return.
Yeah.
So over the past 2 years, how have you seen the real estate market? Like, how has it changed?
Oh, wow. Okay. So there has been a big change because 2 years ago, I was calling in, putting offers over the phone. Like there was nothing built. It was, there's one building to Ken down in Region 8, 9 to 11 units I sold there over the phone. It was like a stock market, like just throwing money around.
Wolf of Wall Street.
Wolf of Wall Street. Yeah, like what the hell? And then and now people have become much more cautious and they want resales. And frankly, I love a resale or a custom build.
Okay.
A resale to me or custom build is the optimal way to go because we don't have to consider what a big pre-construction development, if they're hitting their financial targets and going to give us what the renders show.
I mean, one thing we do tell our clients too, like they call us for advice on, what's going to have the best rentability.
Yeah.
Maybe we should shed some light on, some of these communities that we have so many amenities. We have this, we have that, we have, and sometimes those amenities, they don't get delivered.
Right.
And then, things are not exactly how they were in the renders. And so I think sometimes you can run into some issues there.
That's actually one of the things I didn't love about some of the bigger. Luckily, my clients didn't end up in those because I typically make sure that the developer has executed good completed projects, and I've seen them with my own eyes for quality and timelines. But that's another thing because then when I send them to your team, you're like, well, we're not even touching it until amenities are done because this is going to impact our company and our ratings. So it's a reflection on your company. So nobody wants to work with something that isn't as it was supposed to be.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, that's definitely one thing to watch out for. Like, yes, can they build it? Will they build it? So I think there's a lot of resale opportunities here. I think we're going to get into a new era where they're not flips, but they're going to be like remodels, oh, we want a new kitchen. Oh, we want, there is still a lot of things that you can do here. Furniture does so much. That's why that's so important.
Yeah, and that's why I send my clients like directly to you is because I'm like, what is going to happen here? Can you do this? Can you do something with this? And your team takes it over, and thank goodness for you guys.
Well, I mean, and the occupancy can be a lot different. I think your occupancy and your revenue could be like 15% different. So then, in a market where you're big, I mean, in the end, like think about this, maybe major real estate markets, like I'm an agent in Arizona still. There used to be like 60,000 agents in Arizona. People say, everybody's a real estate agent. Can you still be successful? You can. You can be successful anywhere if you do the right job. You know, you do a good job, you have the right marketing, you have everything's aligned, you have to have all the ingredients.
Yeah.
And that's what we're telling our investors and owners in this market, that it's like now you're making like a chef dinner.
100%.
You're not just going to the store and buying, a rotisserie chicken. Like, no, you've got to make the dinner, have all the ingredients. And when you have the right, agent that helps you find the right unit, the right location, the right developer, then, you can furnish and manage and market it and be successful.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And with that said, I think that's also something we've seen in the last 2 years. There were so many more agents here 2 years ago.
I call them sellers.
There were
actually.
sellers. These, it's people that have no experience in real estate, have not, been trained. You and I have been
They were
trained.
excited. They're like, I could get 6%. I'm going to get a big,
Yeah.
I'm going to get one paycheck in the whole year. Like, amazing.
And they couldn't, they don't have the history and being trained under the realtor that we were trained under. The realtor brand is actually, we pay into insurances to protect consumers against us.
We pay a lot for
Yes.
NAR and realtor.
And it needs to be that way, because you need to treat every client's dollar like it's your own dollar. So the second that I see people just pushing a product just because, and they're, they don't really know what they're even pushing. They're regurgitating. It sounds great, but you don't have that history of seeing ups and downs to experience and know where this could go wrong. So.
Right, for sure. And the other thing that I think is a huge problem in this market, but no one wants to recognize it. Everybody comes here and they're like, oh my gosh, there's no MLS, there's no Zillow. Like, I'm going to make one. You can make anything you want, but getting these agents and sellers to use it seems to be like they don't want to.
Yeah.
They're like, I have this one listing. I'm going to sell it. I'm getting the 6%. I don't want to tell anyone about it. And it makes it so hard for us.
Yeah.
For buyers, for everyone.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I was kind of brainwashed for a hot second at the beginning of working here that no MLS would
agree. No, I agree. I started thinking that, and then
kind of brainwashed me into thinking you know what? No, it's better because then people have to use us. But then I'm looking around and I'm like, I see who other people are using, and I think that it should be people that are registered with AMP and have the accurate licenses that can use that MLS system.
And unfortunately, it's probably not going to happen without regulation. I mean, no one likes that, but I think, when you think about this from a numbers perspective, right? I've been in sales for a lot of years, a really lot of years.
Yeah.
But okay, what if you move 10 units and you got 3%? What about instead of the one unit that you might never move at 6%? It's
yeah,
it's kind of a fantasy.
I actually daydream sometimes of it being like Canadian real estate, where I can just pop the listing up and then I just put a lockbox and then someone enters on their own and then I receive an offer in hand.
Do an open house.
Yeah.
I don't have those here yet.
If I literally daydream about
that
imagine
happening.
It was, we copy pasted the US
instead of driving around in your car looking for signs in the jungle of things that are for sale. That's right, you guys. That's how you find real estate in the Riviera Maya. You get in your car, you drive around, you take pictures of the signs. For me, I go on Translator. I'm like, hey, this land for sale. But I mean, it's it sounds cool in the beginning.
Yeah.
But then it's if we had a website where all the listings were on.
Yeah.
I think it also would create a fair market, because now the other thing that I'm starting to see in Tulum is these fabulous design builds, but wow, they're really expensive.
Yes.
And it's really interesting because having built, obviously, the house we're sitting in, I understand what it costs to build for a square meter, really clearly.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, wow, 1.6, 2.5.
I
Whoa.
know exactly the ones.
That is a lot of money.
Yeah.
And
off a render.
Yeah. I wish I could get those clients hey, Yeah, so I think, the other thing, I always talk about the stupid analogy of Tulum was a cassette and then it was a CD really quick, and now it's digital music. And when everything's digital and you have all of this information, I think some of the overblown pricing is gonna go by quickly.
Right. I feel like now, in today, in the last, let's say 5 months, that we have really reeled back on the pricing. Like
Yep.
people are coming to terms with the fact that like we're not just still blasting off at you said 8 to 10. I think we're at 14% at one point per year.
Yeah.
Like we're not blasting off at that
Yeah.
14, but we're still making money. And like you need to keep your property for a couple years,
Reality.
and you're going to collect that income, assuming you have an
What has
agent.
happened to human beings, really? Like they have like a really weird sense of reality.
They think it's a day trade.
I don't know. Like people are just I think people are really blasted with information. So they're just like, they have so much coming at them. They're not even present. And then they're just like, me, like, and they just like want to be heard. And they're just like, and they're clinging on to like one fact that they heard that they really liked.
Oh,
right?
I know.
Like you're going to make 15% on your Airbnb. No, I think the first year you're going to make 4 to 7. I think then if you have something really good that's a villa, that's when you're going to get 8 to 11 and you're going to be 11.
Yeah.
Like that's where you're going to be 11. With a 1-bedroom, sunny, beautiful penthouse condo, you know what? You're probably going to be at 9 or 10, and that's like topsies, and it is what it is.
Yeah.
But you have an income producing piece of property in a great country, in a beautiful place that you can travel to and go to the beach in 10 minutes.
I've been pro real estate since I was 18. Like I believe my saying when I was selling real estate in Canada was leverage your life with real estate. It literally leverages your life. There are so many ways you can use real estate. You can use it as a long-term rental, a short-term rental. But now in Canada and the US, you can't do those short-term rentals because they put such crazy restrictions on Airbnb permits that like I sold my last property in July this year because I'm like, they boosted my property tax because I have an Airbnb permit. They added an extra tax for the Airbnb permit. I couldn't be within a distance of another neighbor who has an Airbnb permit. Like, let's all forget that and like move your money to Mexico.
Yeah.
It's
Some of the stuff that happened in Nashville was incredible. Incredible. I mean, you can't have an Airbnb within 100 feet of a church or a school. Do you know how many churches and schools are in Nashville? That really did it. The other thing they did too is that once you had the Airbnb, like in certain zones, if you sold it, it could never be an Airbnb again. Yeah. Like, so just like absolutely like, hey, watching the boom and then taking it away, you know? So here, this is like free reign for Airbnb.
Free reign. And I really think that the city is working really hard right now at just making this place an overall better experience for guests. I've noticed that the staff at the beach clubs, because they all want the Google reviews right now, it's a game changer.
Yeah.
People used to like, let's go into the negatives.
We're learning how to act better here in Tulum as a teenager. Growing up, we're learning how to act better.
It's insane. Like now you go to the beach clubs and you're paying 500 pesos. What, $25 to eat a
go to Scottsdale, have a salad, see how much that is.
Exactly. And now they're actually, there's many staff on you because they're looking for the Google reviews because the restaurants are now like, you need to get us Google reviews, so we need to be better serving. So everything is getting better. Yeah. It's all getting better, and I think the worst is behind us, and I hope that I'm not putting that out and jinxing it, but I genuinely feel that the best is yet to come here, and people do not understand, like, until you're living here and you can feel it, like the community events we have that are Wednesday nights and Saturday mornings, and the fact that, there's dog shelters that are now working with these community events, and the after school programs that are joining in on these community events. And
there's even like kids like daycares and stuff like popping up, which is really cool. Like we're actually seeing like families coming to Tulum. Yeah, it's like maturing into a real market.
And then we have like Scorpio from Mykonos coming in, and we have Fina, like I'm going there tonight. Like we have Fina from Miami. That is insane. That man totally fixed up that area where Fina, Miami is.
I think it's just not the place for the cheap traveler, and I think it's okay. I think that's okay. Like I think, that's kind of something that we're fighting. I think some people here were like, oh, we want it to be like, inaccessible place. Like, well, it is also like, it's an exclusive place, and that's okay. It's okay to be high end. It's okay to have a 500 peso salad. I don't know. In Scottsdale, it's okay. I don't know why it can't be okay here. But yeah, I think here we're really going to be for the moderate to luxury traveler. And I think that's what Tulum has been all along.
I have to say, though, that like we have to also remember that this is one of the top beaches in the
world.
entire world. There's a reason an entire civilization energetically came to Tulum. There's subterranean rivers, and Tulum will chew you up.
It's a vortex, and you have to pay for it.
You will chew, it'll chew you up or it'll spit you out. And you might not belong here, and I'm sorry to say it, but like if you can't look at yourself in the mirror, you don't belong in Tulum. If you can't focus on like bettering yourself and growing with the changes, like you might just not belong here.
Yeah.
You know?
If you're a control freak, you cannot
No
live
control.
here.
100%. You can't. Like you go to the bank and you get a ticket, like you're waiting for your meal, you know, and they're just like, sit down, and you're there with everybody, and you're like, here we are, just chilling at the bank.
Bank is really something that Americans and Canadians need to learn about the bank.
Yes.
Like if you have not been to a Mexican bank, you have not lived.
Yeah, no,
you do not know.
Bring a snack. Bring a snack. Bring a beer in your bag.
I have to bring like a blanket for Mason because BBOVia is like so cold. It's the coldest place.
Yeah, it's so cold, but it's also like you just learn patience here. You learn that this is not where we're from, and you need to take it.
Yeah, you need to not make it. Yeah, and that's the thing. I think like some of our guests, they see a lot of things online, and they see like, but they want to come here and make it the U.S. Like you need to come here and like experience Tulum.
Let it be Tulum.
Right.
Yeah.
Hot water is optional.
Hot water, you don't really need it.
You really don't need
like,
it. But
this is the winter months, so a little bit.
I feel like it should be optional. Like, can I just put it on my listings? Like hot water, maybe 3 p.m. Yes, 6 p.m. No.
No guarantee.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely like it. Tulum has a heart and a mind of its own.
It is
and
so.
People need to respect that.
Goosebumps.
So
It's such a special place. Like aside from just the real
bank.
estate part
Aside
and
from
the
the
bank. Yeah, like, but there's also the new 25 access points. So I was on the beach this week, and the first day the beach was so clear. It was jammed with families, like from Sana down to like I always eat there alone on Sundays. And then I came down into like the Dulek area. It was so busy. And there's just people finally, I do respect and appreciate that people do have free access to the beach because it should have never been taken away. Yeah. It should always be that way because we need everybody coexisting, not just the high rollers that are coming in from Vegas.
For sure. Yeah. So I think there's some really good changes happening.
Yeah.
I think contrary to everybody's belief, you're not going to come to Mexico and just die here. It's fine. It's really nice. It's a great place.
You can text a doctor, and within 2 hours,
they're going to come to your house.
At your house.
Get your lashes done at your house.
At your house. My
your
nails done at my house.
Massage at your house.
Like, I don't think people understand like how easy it is in so many ways. Like how incredible it is. Like I don't want to go.
It's jungle luxury.
It's jungle luxury. I love it.
Right.
Okay,
Awesome.
So have you seen those videos on like TikTok where it's people saying, don't invest your money in Tulum, and it's just all this bad rap?
Well, I mean, have you seen people on TikTok don't invest in real estate? They actually usually are 15 and they don't have any money. So that's kind of a problem. But I mean, TikTok overall, it's a little young for me. But I think, that people are saying things about Tulum and maybe shitting on it because they're not ready to invest in real estate, or they don't have the nerve to go through with something like that. It's easy to say to all your friends, like, I would never buy in Mexico, like, because then.
Have you ever invested in real estate? Yeah, is actually the first question.
Airbnb? Have you ever thought about it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think Tulum is changing so much. There's so much happening here, and all the naysayers, they're going to miss the boat. And by the time they turn around and say, let's invest in Tulum, it's probably going to be too expensive.
Yep, I agree.
So, should get in now or miss out forever.
Buy now.
Yeah, buy now or miss out forever.
Perfect.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. So how can everyone get in touch with you?
Okay, so on Instagram, I'm at It's Krystal Hess, ITSKRYSTALHESS, or my company, palmsrealestategroup.com.
You can find us on Instagram at Jungle Lux Mex. Also, if you want to download a copy of the Tulum report that we update every so often, so you can get all the happenings on Tulum, you can comment Tulum to this post. And we'll see you on the next episode.
Cheers!
It was something in the air.